let's stop it there. So this is a news article on the Scandinavian diet, and they're saying that it's going to help people live longer. Um, for example, Denmark obesity rates are 10% and Norway 5% compared to 18% in Australia. Hashtag I'm in Hong Kong. I don't know what the rates are over here. Probably somewhere in between. So what and how do they eat? What and what and how they eat? Do they eat that helps them control their weight, and what can we learn from them? So they're saying fish helps them stay slim, and that omega 3s are good for lowering risk of chronic diseases. So yeah, omega 3 has been to lowering chronic diseases, but it's got less to do with the intake of fish and more to do with the intake of less omega 6, and just if you do take omega 3, then that helps as well. But it's more a reduction in omega 6 to make the ratio into a better one. So if you are eating fish which does have omega 3 and you're putting oil on it, the ratio might be okay because there's lots of omega 3s in the fish. But you're getting other packages that essentially aren't associated with good health. Some of the populations eat fish, like Japanese populations, which have lived a long time. They don't eat a lot of fish. That's why they probably live longer, and they have a lot more plants in their diet. And the Scandinavians too, they shy away from red meat, which is good. They're eating fish, which is not so good. They're also eating plants, which is good. So instead of taking the omega 3 from a fish or a fish oil supplement, take it from a plant-based supplement if you must. Really, I think they're overhyped. And I actually think that as long as you're cutting down your omega 6, which is found in generally concentrated oils, um, like vegetable oil and soybean oil and stuff like that, cut those out. You're going to be getting a better profile omega 3 to omega 6, which is linked to reduction in heart disease, diabetes, and stroke. It's the same thing as here. Protein based breakfasts. So, what do they eat? They have plenty of meat, cheese, and fish, along with heavy rye bread. So, they're saying protein, protein, protein. But that's not what the rest of the. If they link some studies, that would be lovely. Um, Black bread. Forget white processed loaves. So here they're demonizing white bread, which it's always better to choose the whole grain. You're getting more fiber, um, but you're eating bread. Bread is bread. Veggies and fruits are where it's at. So get more of those in, less of the others. Less of the bleached flours and bleached rices. Root veggies, including potatoes, sweet potatoes, and turnips, thrive in cold temps, so they're easy to grow, and they're starchy veg. So people actually, most people consider them heavy choices, but even pasta, rice, and other carbs, they're less heavy than animal products. Dairy, eggs, anything with cream, fishes, they're all very high in calories, and that seems to not be associated with good health in terms of most of the studies. If you want, I'm not going to link the studies, but if you go to nutritionvax.org, or if you type into Google simply, like, let's say omega 3 and heart disease, it will show you the studies, so you can read these things. It won't say fish is linked with a lower risk of cardiovascular disease unless it's been funded by sadly, some sort of company that's got vested interests. So again, they say the celebration of mealtime should be happy and less processed food. So it's pretty generally common sense in terms of the veggies, the processed food, but I would say lower protein has actually been linked with uh, longevity. The blue zone populations, the people who have the longest lifespans in the world, they eat more plants, they eat lower protein, slightly lower protein on average. You still get enough. Um, but eating too much protein is not a healthful thing to do. And I'd like to see the studies that say more protein is better. I'd also like to see the studies that say more fish is better. Um, as I said before, if there are, they're probably funded by the Fish Council. And that's not me being closed-minded, that's just the way it is. Like, check the funding. And you can say, well, What about all these veggie study? They're funded by Big Sweet Potato. It's there's no money for Big Sweet Potato. It's very hard to fund them compared to these animal companies, these animal abuse companies. They've got shit tons of money because the status quo gives them money. So, what can you learn from the Scandinavian diet? Be picky about it and pick out the fish. Go vegan. Do it for your health. Do it for the animals. Do it because it's the right thing to do.